Grand Rising Kings, Queens, Gods, and Goddesses. This video is going to be about how to raise your children. How to raise and discipline your child. Feel me? Because this world that we live in, society, this world will have people do things that it goes out of your nature, and of course it goes out of your child nature. And of course you already have everything within you, aka all the tools, aka all the natural alignments that your spirit is basically accustomed to. But when we're talking about our children, our childs, our babies, it's very important to make sure that they have a firm ground to step on and walk on, aka even when we're on this planet, and of course when we leave this planet. We don't want to be in circumstances and situations, of course, creating catastrophic events and momentarily accidents to where we put our childs in harm's way, or we put ourselves in harm's way, because of course that's like you having a responsibility, just like how you work every day, and if you get hurt off the clock, you're being affected and the child is being affected at the moment, not necessarily. But of course, that goes into responsibilities, making sure you putting something to the side, due to rainy days, due to stormy days. Now, rainy days ain't nothing wrong with rainy days. Of course, it needs to rain, because of course, if something is held in, it can't be released, and you can't experience something new if you're always holding something in. If you're always holding in a grudge, if you're always holding in a circumstance, a situation, or a circumference inside of you, and you're not allowing these things to basically be pushed out and reciprocated outside of you, then it's going to be reciprocated inside of you, to the point that you may have to kill somebody or put yourself in harm's way due to these circumstances and situations and stagnations is basically being built up inside you, aka always release, let it out, or it's going to get out one way or the other, due to your aura, due to somebody spotting it, or you can keep your mouth closed, but somebody is going to be out here talking. And of course, when things is being talked upon, fake pages is created, fake mechanisms is created, fake circumstances and situations and scenarios is being created and admitted. So you always got to be very careful of where you're placing intentions, you're placing information, aka when you're inside of a form, you have nations, aka kids, children, people, places, and things swimming, wandering all over the place inside of you. Now, these things can be pushed out. Now, we're about to get into this video. When we're talking about raising your children, it's highly important to know your child's energies, know your child's natural alignments, know your child's astrological charts, aka get into astrology. See, this is why it's important, because you can be in a circumstance situation that, being that you was in a generation, and that generation did things based upon how society orchestrated it, you could be basically putting yourself in harm's way and putting your child in harm's way, aka blocking them from certain experiences in their life in order for them to basically go to the next level. Because you could be bringing in a gift into this world, but being that you're so hard on your child and you see things in your way and not allowing your child to basically have breathing space or breathing air or breathing rooms, you put your child in motherfucking mental hell, a jail cell, aka your child is not a free spirit. Your child is in a religion, and we ain't talking about religion as far as Jesus Christ, Messiah, or anything of that nature. For me, we're going to get into that, but we just talking about society religion, aka redoing something. And what happens when you keep doing something over and over again? You don't experience, you don't do spirals, you don't do 360s, you just do 180. You act opposite, aka you don't go do that 360, you just stop at 180. Then you just create circumstances and situations to make your spirit, your space, your ship too heavy, to the point it's carrying baggages. This is where you create demons. This is where you create dark energy. Yeah, you're going to shine, you're going to release. But of course, when you're stuck and stagnated into a routine on a day-to-day basis, these things can overwhelm you mentally, physically, and emotionally. Now, take that into consideration before you even have a child. You already have kids due to your mind and your feelings and emotions and the energy that you're basically being admitted out. You in a low vibrational state as the parent. Now, basically, being that you're a parent in that low vibrational state, now you're about to bring a child in this world. So now, whatever's on your heart, your mind, is basically what's being admitted and created within that child. That child is going to basically be resonating with that space, that frequency, that vibration, that energy. And when that child is pushed outside of you, what happens? You have so many things outlined for that child. So many things going on for that child. And that child just was here to experience and just basically come up with his own way of doing things. But being that you're making it so hard on that child, you're putting too much responsibilities, and basically you're being too over judgmental and over out of control with that child. What happens is you create a circumstance situation of putting baggages on that child, releasing your baggages on that child, aka slavery. You're just a parent, a pair that rent. You're just renting this child, aka buying the things, feeding it, clothing it for the time being. You're not going to be able to actually have this child forever. You got to leave this world one day. And of course, rent means you're just basically renting something out. You don't own it, which means you don't own your child when your child turn 18 or basically grown up. You don't own that child no more. That child is grown as fuck. You was just renting that child. That's why it's called pair rent. Pair that rent. Just a pair that rent, basically. So listen. Now, when you get into these perspectives, it's highly important to know your child's astrological charts, aka they natal charts. Know what time they was born. Also know what time you was born too, because this can basically be a reflection as far as being that you have a chart and they have a chart. You know that basically certain energies and certain spectrums that you have in your charts, it may not mix and mingle with the shit that your children have in their charts. AKA, let's just run down planets real fast and zodiac signs. Now the sun is basically a sun sign, which you're physically seeing. That could be A through Z, aka Aries all the way to Pisces. From Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. And of course, you have houses, there's only 12 houses. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12. 12 houses. So of course, 12 houses represents that pi, that 360, that 369 angle. So of course, that 360 angle, aka, because once you go to 9, you gotta add 3, aka for the spirit, the soul, and of course the physical representation, as above, as below, and of course, as above, you're within, but you could be up, you could be down, no matter how it plays out. It plays out on all mechanisms. Now, being that you have a child, now you need to know their charts, because of course, if you don't know your child's charts, you could be placing bondages and restrictions on them and shit. This will create a child that can get very angry, very frustrated at you. AKA, your child could be disrespecting you. Your child could be cursing you out. Your child could be doing all kinds of things. And of course, it's the spirit in that child's body that's basically doing these things, controlling this child. You get attacked and you get controlled by millions, billions, and trillions of spirits every day. And your child is like one of the strongest vessels that you basically admitted it. So children, they are very powerful. And children contain a whole lot of spirits. Way more spirits than their parents, too. Because at the end of the day, that imagination is very, very, it's not small. It's kind of like big. It's very big. Because your child is aware of everything. Your child is curious. Child makes certain facial expressions. Like your child is basically, like, your child knows. Your child is like way more advanced and way more aware. Almost to the point your child can be an old soul, an oversoul. Which means that child is basically an old soul that's basically was born through you. And that spirit, that child as a spirit is older than you. That child can probably been here for eons, millions of years, way before you. Just in this certain realm of reality, you could probably just be new to this world, some shit, or this could be your first human experience. While this child was here for hundreds of years, thousands of years, and many bodies and shit, because it was going through a whole lot of experiences and shit, and it basically didn't want to elevate it. It wanted just to keep coming back here and coming back here and keep coming back here, almost to the point that it can also play into the circumstance situation of this could be your first child human experience, and you can be basically as a parent into this world millions and billions and trillions of years. And now this child it may take this child a very, very long time to learn something, like almost to the point that this child got to learn everything now. And this child needs all the experiences in the world in order for it to basically keep going up. Because now if the child don't get too many experiences, it's not going to be aware. So it's going to basically leave the body and come back here to this world, unless that child had a big ass imagination, a big ass concept, and then basically this child was able to basically uplift and go way beyond. Had ideas and feelings and emotions that wasn't even like committed to being on this planet, to a bigger spectrum. And when we talking about like knowing how to raise and discipline your child, see, you got to get your child into activity. See, everything is basically dependent on the elements. Know your child elements. So if you're a fire sign, and if your child is a fire sign, then of course 10 times out of 10, y'all both are gonna basically clash. Why? Because fire loves to do its own thing. And of course, you as a parent want to control his fire. And of course, fire don't like to be controlled. You already know Sagittarius don't like to be mixing and mango when it comes to relationships. Don't be tied up. You already know a Leo is fixed fire, aka love to be fixated in their own way of feeling and seeing about the world that's around them. And of course, if we talking about Aries, forget about it. Now, Aries, they get attacked by every zodiac wheel, every zodiac spirit, and every zodiac sign, because of course that's what one of the first elements of the cardinal fire. So if they like to initiate and create, they like to motherfucking innovators. So like they like to do things and feel things and see things in their perspective on reality, and their visions on reality. So you're already dealing with a clash. Now this can be a conjunction, this can be a trine, this can be a gift too. Some signs know this, some signs don't know this. Now if you're not into astrology and you don't know shit about astrology, you don't even know your sign, you don't even know your child's sign, you're not into that shit, this is where you fuck up, because you don't know the elements that your child need to basically be reciprocated in, or you don't know the elements that you need to be reciprocated in. And of course, you could have been born to a family that they didn't know shit about astrology, they wasn't into astrology, and they just lost. They don't know shit about the stars. They're very disconnected. They too much mundane, too much logical, that they don't have a wide, broad perspective on how things can play out into their life. And of course, they're very naive. They don't know what the fuck going on. So this can create circumstances, situations of you raising your child in the wrong way, and this child is not supposed to be raised in this way. This child's supposed to be raised in the way of, okay, you need to do things in that way, your way, how you see things and how you want to do things. Because of course, the spirit is always going to know what to do. The spirit is always going to know what it wants to do. That's why it's important for you to basically back your child up, back them up, back their decisions up on how they want to do things. Of course, if they have a wide, broad perspective, if they feel very good about this shit, support their dreams. Be happy. Or try to be happy, even though if you're not happy about a circumstance, situation is, just still be happy and support them. Feel me? Because at the end of the day, they can basically be taken off. They can be taken off to bigger duties, bigger expectations, and bigger prosperity into the world. And of course, this could be a circumstance, situation that you ain't even got to work hard no more for. This child can basically grant you all your wishes, all your fruits and labors, and all your fortune and shit. And boom, what happens? You ain't got to work no more. You chilling right now. Your child just basically took things in his own hands, and of course they was able to do things in their own perspective, in their own way. You ain't blocked them nothing. You just let them be free. And by you blocking them and shit, you're blocking access for your child to basically get from point A to point B. Now your child's gonna basically be, what the fuck is on my nose? Your child is gonna be mad at you. The fuck is on my motherfucking nose? Your child is gonna be mad at you. Your child is gonna be angry. Your child ain't gonna basically look at you as someone that's very inspiring. Your child not even gonna be your child that don't even gonna want to be called your father or your mother anymore. Your child is gonna look at you like you a disgrace. You a bum. You ain't shit. You just a piece of shit. You just was here to basically have me birth into this world, but you ain't do shit for me. You wasn't there for me. And of course, if your creations is basically talking down on you like that, then you have a lot of looking into the mirror to do. You need to support that child very quick. You need to be there for that child very quick. You need to be in that child's life very quick. You need to love that child every day. You need to be on that child back for positive perspectives, of course. Push and motivate your child to do what they want to do. Not what you're trying to basically make it do. Now, of course, there's certain circumstances and situations that you got to basically do things. But, of course, don't be on your child yelling at them, cursing at them, and screaming at them and shit. Because, of course, this will create friction. And you don't want to do that shit with your child. I mean, you don't want to curse your child. You want to harm your child. Because, of course, you do that shit, you beat your child, you're going to feel that shit. Of course, you're beating you. Actually, this is your creation. So what you're doing to your child is how it's being reflected towards you. This is like a piece of you that you harming, that you hurting and shit. So of course, you're gonna get that backlash right back, no matter how it play out. That's how it always plays out. The child beat their ass and they feel very bad about it. Yeah, you feel bad about it because you just beat your ass, your creations. Now you gonna feel that shit. You gonna eat that shit. That shit gonna eat you up. Now when we talking about well, let's get into the zodiac signs. Now, when we talking about the Aries, now if your child is an Aries, Just know your child like to initiate new ways on how to feel and see about reality. So that means your child is going to want to do things in its own way. Do not block that child. That child is going to want to do things. Now, let's be very, very, very real simple-minded right now. Now, if we're talking about a child, if a child want to pick up a knife and go kill somebody, grab that, don't even have that concept or that idea. Don't even let your child basically have that perspective on things. Allow your child to have freedom. Allow your child to basically do what they want to do. But basically, at the end of the day, we all have responsibilities that we got to take care of. But at the end of the day, make sure your child is being in a circumstance situation where things can be new towards your child. Show new things towards your child. Get them into new experiences, new circumstances and situations where they can freely express themselves. Get into duties and obligations where they can feel the need to basically say, okay, I kind of love this. This thing is not blocking me. It's not keeping me stagnated. AKA, don't ever put responsibilities on the fire sign. The fire sign like to basically expand and grow. Feel me? Like an Aries like to keep moving around. It don't like to stay in one spot. Like to just basically go through reality. Have his own views. Have his own vision. You don't even gotta really look after this Aries child, because this Aries child already know what it's doing. Or it's already ahead of the game. For me, it's basically fire signs is basically dealing with future, ahead of the game. It's not dealing with the past. It's not dealing with what's gonna come after that perspective. It's just basically out there. It's gonna go out there. It's gonna go grab it and go do it. Now support that Aries. Support that child in your life. Feel me? Now if you got a Taurus child, just know Taurus is fixed. That's a fixed Earth sign. Earth, for me, it takes very long for shit to grow on Earth due to the seasons and the transits and the rotations of things, of course. Now, when we get into spring, aka Taurus is a spring sign. It's a spring zodiac sign. Now, Taurus is an Earth sign. Now, Earth signs, they kind of do things in a safely manner. They take their time with things, aka Taurus like to take their time and do things in a more practical way. It may seem like they slow, but of course, they like to build things, to construct things, and make things make sense. They don't like to just basically jump into things and have 1,000,001 things going all over the motherfucking place. No, you got to make sure that when you're doing things for this child, with this child, you have to take your time with this child. Don't beat this child in the head. Don't yell at this child, feel me? Because you're going to fuck up the element, feel me? It's not going to play in that perspective. Like, for instance, if you're Sagittarius and that child is a Taurus, this is in conjunction. This is a misunderstanding. This is an alienation. AKA, y'all do not have the same elements. So that means you need to find a way to basically mix and mingle a little bit more with the earth element and not be on that child's back so hard and so heavily. These are two different elements. And this is in conjunction. Fire and water don't mix. Fire and earth don't mix. See, fire is going to burn the earth. Just like how you see a house can burn down. That's bricks. That's stableness. Fire and earth does not mix. So you need to basically change your whole perspective on how you basically deal with that child. Feel me? Now, what can reason with that child can be a water sign, or it can be a earth sign. Now, if you're a Scorpio and that child is a Taurus, then y'all may clash a lot because y'all opposite signs. That's the only perspective, being that it's a 180-degree aspect. But of course, y'all always gonna have a love and hate relationship, being that spectrum play into its parts. Now, back to this subject. Now, with a Taurus, you need to find stability, find practicality with that sign, because that's an earth sign. This is basically what it's known for. So get this child into like marketing and shit like that. Get this child into like business or something like that. Or get this child into something dealing with earth perspective, or things that make sense, like reading and looking at books and things like that. Because that's more like a logical perspective. So you would basically utilize them spectrums and have that go into its place. See, now yelling at a Taurus and trying to rush a Taurus is going to make the Taurus very angry. Your child is going to be very mad at you, because Taurus don't like to be rushed. Taurus like to be stable and take their time with things. And of course, you're loving and nurturing. Also the moon is here too, so be very careful when you're dealing with that Taurus child. And when you're dealing with a Gemini child, you need to talk with that child. You need to have communication with that child. You need to talk to that child. You need to fulfill his mind. You need to basically have interactions with that child. Don't ignore that child. The child needs to be talking to you. Now, if you ignore your child, you ignore your creations. And if you're ignoring something, it's going to be disabandoned. Your child's not going to get along with you. You're going to see the other side of that Gemini, aka that two-faced child that may come at you. For me, so try to get that child in space. Try to get that child into like reading books. And like communication is key with that child. Try to like talk. Communication is key with that child. Feel me? don't just rush into things and harming that child in that perspective, because they're mutable air. Feel me? They like to adapt to their ways of thinking to communicate. So try to adapt with them. It may be very hard. You may be a Sagittarius or some shit, where y'all may be opposite signs. See, Sagittarius is gonna feel the need to basically think outside the box. See, the Gemini, it can adapt to that too, but of course it may need to take time, because of course that's fire and air. For me, these are two different elements, and of course these are opposite energies. Even though you're not gonna have a bad relationship, you're gonna have a good relationship. This is actually a good placement right here, because these are opposites, and of course they're not gonna feel the need to basically argue or anything. They're just gonna look at each other like, okay, cool, I can reason with this, I can reason with that. Now if you got a Capricorn and a motherfucking Gemini, oh no, that's not gonna work. For me, it's gonna be a whole lot of misunderstandings, mental frustration, anxiety, all kind of shit gonna build up with that thing. Also, if your child is a Taurus, your child is gonna have may have issues with their throat chakras, aka they may have issues with thyroid and shit, thyroid cancer and things of that nature. So get them some sea moss, and of course get them like green smoothies and things of that nature. Let them do that little shaman, put a little crystal on their neck. For me. Also, if they are Aries, they may have head injuries, mental injuries, aka as in mental exaltation, mental issues, aka they, for me, because that's a fire sign. For me, like that fire burn out real fast. Yeah, but when we talk about Geminis, thinking the communication, intellect, for me, having some form of science or reading books and things of that nature will basically fulfill their mind. Like they need something to do on a day-to-day basis. They need to be active in their surroundings and shit. So if they want to go outside with their friends and chill, let them go outside with their friends and chill. For me, don't block that Gemini from being able to do that. For me, because you're gonna basically meet consequences with that. Now, if it's in a bad environment or he's shooting every day, talk to that Gemini, but like, some shooting, or just go for a walk with that Gemini into the park, be with that child. For me, get them outside and shit. Let them have a friend or some shit and things of that nature. And we talk about a Cancer. This is a water sign. This is a cardinal sign. So they like to initiate new ways on how to deal with their feelings. So when it comes to cardinal water, aka Cancers, love them, nurture them, take care of them. Don't yell at them, don't scream at them, don't curse at them, because of course this is going to create a circumstance situation if they're going to feel abused and harmed and hurt. And of course, you're going to get that backlash right back at you. So you need to love and protect this. Like, this is your biggest creation in the world, aka the moon, the macabre, which is the strongest zodiac sign in the world. And this is a strong placement right here. So try to make sure you love and nurture this child. Get this child into like things of the past, like ancestors and things of that nature. Like get them into like some kind of dancing class, some kind of drawing class and things of that nature. Set up the tone like that for them, and something like that. Because of course this is good. Water is dealing with the past experiences, the soul, the feelings and emotions. So what happened in the past previously is what's going to basically be reflected out. So of course they need to be put into circumstances, situations like that. Of course they like to be home a lot. They like to be protected too. So of course find some creativity, something for them to do. These would be like the child that'll cry a lot or feel very sad if they're going to school or some shit like that. For me. Because, of course, they love being home. They love to be nurtured. They love to be with their mom, their dad. They don't like to leave the nest. So leaving the nest is going to make them feel very uncomfortable, and they're not going to be very open to new people and new places and new things of that nature. So it's going to take time. So, yeah, when we talk about a Leo now, a Leo is a fixed fire. So they fixate in their own ways of feeling and seeing with their visions and how they express themselves. Now, if you're trying to block out a Leo, if you're trying to basically block his expression, you're fucking up. That's like blocking the sun. That's like some stupid shit that Bill Gates trying to do. Don't do that shit. You're gonna get some blood on your hands. Now, this Leo needs to express everything. They need to express their heart. They need to get all the attention in the world. This is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Like, if they want to make a TikTok, let them make a TikTok. They want to watch certain movies, let them watch certain movies. Feel me? Because, of course, they're going to come up with their own mechanism and their own way of expressing themselves and basically being out there. And, of course, being a center stage and getting energy and shit. Now, when you allow your children to basically do these things, then you allow your child to be able to actually fully express themselves and put themselves in a circumstance situation of being open and being able to receive whatever they're trying to basically push out. Now, this is a powerful zodiac sign, aka if this is a child. This child can basically be the one that's bringing you the millions of dollars. You could be basically making the TikTok for this child, taking pictures of this child, filming this child, putting this child out there. Of course, boom, now you got a business now. People want to do business with you. People want to take pictures of their child. People want to basically put your child to acting and basically do higher spectrums and things of that nature. Now, when you so deeply rooted and down onto this child back, and basically having them do other shit by like reading books and all this other shit. Ain't nothing wrong with reading books. We all gotta find equilibrium and balance in our life. But if we get stuck and rooted into one thing that's not basically rooted into our elements, then these things can block us. Now, depending on how many elements and how many things and how many energies that you're basically dealing with in your charts, these things can go on the highest spectrum. And when we're talking about a Virgo, see, a Virgo, how you treat a Virgo, appreciate them, love them, nurture them, care for them. And of course, be careful what you feed this child, because this child is basically going to be very aware of what they're eating. AKA, if they eat certain foods that they don't recommend themselves with, then okay, don't scream at your child, don't yell at your child, oh, why you ain't eat the food? I pay all this rent. Don't do that shit, because you're going to create anxiety for that child. You're going to create worry for that child. Understand, this child needs to be eating a very healthy diet that's going to basically make them feel good about themselves, make them feel very peaceful about themselves. You feed them all this junk food and shit, they're going to feel the need not to eat these things. And of course, it's going to create circumstance situations where you're going to bump heads. And don't do that with that child. Get this child onto something that they can be more practical on. And of course, they love being of service to people. So of course, get them like, here, $5. Oh, you take care of the chores, honey, I'll give you $5. I'll give you $10. I mean, get your child into that spectrum. AKA, have them do things in a more practical, timely manner. Things that make sense. And of course, get them into like business. AKA, show them the money, because it's Earth sign. Earth sign, they attract money way faster than any other zodiac sign. Because of course, this is the Earth sign, it's the element sign, the physical representation. So of course, they have access to the earthly matters. AKA, the more they get stable and grounded, they can basically reciprocate all the resources to come into their natures. AKA, make sure you do everything from the spiritual perspective. So yeah, that's how you take care of that Virgo. Nurture them, love them, and take care of them. Now, if you got a Libra, relate with this Libra. Love this Libra. Find equilibrium and balance with this Libra. Teach this Libra how to pretty much focus on themselves at times. Don't have them relying too much on outside influences or outside worlds and shit like that. Because they're going to feel the need to basically relate to everybody. Find equilibrium with everybody. Don't argue with them. Don't get on their back, feel me? Because they don't like to argue, feel me? They like to run away. They can be very emotional. AKA, they may not even show their true side. You yell at this Libra might run away and some shit. You're going to feel like, why are you running? Don't do that shit. Don't even argue with them, feel me? Just talk to them very calm, very peacefully, and very nicely. Treat them like respect. Treat them like they mean something. And everything will be good. Y'all energies won't clash or nothing like that, feel me? Get them into some form of entertainment class and things of that nature. Get them in some form of music, and because they love music. And of course, keep the windows open too. They love their air. They need their air, feel me? Get them into some music. Get them into some teach them how to dress. Treat them how to own their own business and things of that nature. For me, because they don't really like working 9 to 5 jobs. I mean, some Libras can be very lazy. They don't really like to take on anything as far as working for somebody and things of that nature. They like to do things in their own way. They like cardinal air, so they like to initiate new ways of how to think and communicate, and of course, be more out there, be more expressive, as far as artistic natures and creativity. So by you blocking this person with a Venus, aka this is like also Taurus too. So if you're blocking this person's path and shit, it's going to be very hard for them to basically be able to ascend. Now for Scorpios. Now when it comes to Scorpios, love this child. For me, just love this child. For me, like understand and understand that they have sides to them that they may very, very much isolate themselves away from you, separate themselves away from you. And of course, they may not be want to be lovey-dovey all the time. And of course, they can be not open towards new people that they basically meet in their life and shit. By you yelling at them and shit, saying, oh, why you didn't do this to this person? Why you hanging out with this person? Don't do that shit, feel me? Because you're going to create a dark side to this child. This child not going to appreciate you, feel me? This child, get them into some form of exercising. Take them to the gym. Teach them, work out with them and shit. Keep secrets with this child. Don't tell nobody their secrets. I mean, if they did some dark shit, or if they experience some dark shit and shit, or if they experience something, don't tell nobody about the business between you and them. Feel me? Keep things very secretive, very sacred towards your child. Feel me? And everything will be good with your child. Feel me? The child don't like too much light, don't like too much attention and things of that nature. Feel me? It takes them time to basically open up. Feel me? So be very, very patient with this child, because they're fixated in their own ways of dealing with their feelings and emotions. They can be very deeply rooted. So take some time with this child. Feel me? Understand this child, the child may have did some shit in the past, and of course, they just experiencing this shit now into this presence. So take your time with the child. Don't be too on this child back. Don't put too much obligations and duties on this child. For me, get this child into some form of sports. some form of drawing, some form of music, dancing and shit like that, feel me? Get them into some shit like that and everything will be good. Now Sagittariuses, get these are mutable fires. So like they like to be mutable with their ways of feeling and seeing. So get them into some form of like inspire them in some shit. For me, like get them into spectrums of experiences. Take them on trips. Take them out of the country sometimes. For me, take them places. Don't stay too much in the neighborhood. Don't stay, for me, because Sagittarius like to move around. Don't like to stay stagnated. Take them to the park sometimes. Take them on road trips sometimes. Just teach them about nature. Like teach them how to teach them about different languages and things of that nature. Teach them about different experiences in life. Like talk to them and shit. Teach them how to become a mentor. Teach them how to become a preacher. Teach them how to become, like, basically do these things as representations and basically allow them to basically do whatever they want to do, for me. Allow them to basically get off the porch. They want to travel and shit, don't stop them, for me. They could be, 16, 15 years old. If they want to travel, let them travel, for me. Because by them traveling, they can basically create a circumstance situation in a life that they can be able to expand and create a foundation. By you blocking them and shit, you're going to have some issues you're going to have some blood on your hands by being a parent. Don't do that shit, for me. Support them, feel me? Support them. If they want to go there, let them go there. If they want to travel, let them travel, for me. Let them experience. That's what they came here to do, for me. Jupiter, like, to expand and grow. Jupiter, they don't go to Jupiter to get stupider. They go to Jupiter to get smarter. They like to expand. They like to grow, for me. Sagittarius, for me, like to expand, go through experiences and things of that nature. They don't like to be trapped. Don't trap them, for me. Just let them explore, for me. Let them go out there, for me. Let them shoot their shot, for me. Let them shoot their shot. Capricorn. When we talk about Capricorns, just know that this person is a boss, status, career. They like to do things in their own way. They don't like to work for nobody. They don't like to do chores. They don't like to pick up the other slack. Understand that shit. They're going to do what they want to do sometimes. Try to get them on the schedule. AKA, if you do this, I'll give you $20. If you do this consistently, I'll help you out. If you do this consistently, I'll hold you down for this. For me, if it means money, time, cool. But spend some time with this child. For me, teach this child not to self-doubt themselves. Teach this child not to be guilty. Put this child in a circumstance situation where they don't have to be responsible for your ass. For me, yeah, they have a business going on. Don't rely too much on this child. For me, this child will take care of you. There's going to come a point in time where this child will be like, okay, why are you not doing this? How come you're not doing it? How come you're not taking care of business? How come you're not staying on business? For me, don't be too reliant on this child. For me, show this child that you're responsible as well. Just be responsible with this child. For me, teach this child about responsibility, status, being on time, and of course, career, making things make sense, and of course, being more practical and predicated towards business and being ambitious about your goals and motivations and determinations and shit like that. For me, that's what this Capricorn need to basically be based upon. They need to be a boss. For me, they don't need to be bossed around by nobody. For me, teach them how to be a boss. Teach them how to stay in their own power. For me, of course, create a bank account for all your child. That's another good thing. Now, Aquarius, unique, original, and of course, they can be very rebellious too. So, of course, just know that this Aquarius can be very rebellious if you go against their uniqueness, their freedom, and of course, trying to block them away from certain experiences. If this child want to play the game and get into technology, let this child play the game and get into technology. This planet Uranus is from that kind of space and location. So allow this child to basically do whatever they want to do. Get into science, astrology, occult, mysticism. Or if they teach you about astrology, admire them. Or get into it with them and shit. For me, because they could be teaching you some shit that you may not be very well aware of. And of course, by you allowing them to basically teach you these things and teach you how to be unique and to be original, they can basically help you drive towards this spectrum and get you into many deputies on how to move around and get around to things and shit. Also, they need a space too, so don't be too stagnated on this child. For me, this child gonna need a space at a point in time, especially when they grow up and shit. For me, they can be very attached, but after a while, that attachment is gonna go out the window. For me, they gonna need a space. For me, also they can be very unique too. They can be very rebellious against rules, obligations, and duties and things of that nature. For me, these are good people though. Don't get it fucked up. But they can be very rebellious against things that don't fit their criteria, and they're gonna feel the need to basically oppose against that shit. Understand that just see the whole point and spectrum of things. We don't just dump into doubtness and things of that nature. For me, just support this child. For me, this child is very unique, very original, and of course, teach them how to be that too. And of course, everything will be basically good with y'all. For me, but make sure you don't fuck with their freedom and their uniqueness and their originality. For me, let them be. For me, just let them be them. They could be very alienated. They could be very detached too at times. Cause they may be having a whole lot going on. Feel me? But of course, Aquarius, you know, they like to be fixated in their own way of thinking and communicating and being unique and original. That's just Aquarius for you. Feel me? And the only bad traits is really no bad traits. I mean, they may not be very open to people at times, but of course that's about it. But of course, last but not least, when we talk about that Pisces, I mean, the Pisces is mutable water, so get them into like their dreams, support their imagination, teach them to not how to be too stuck into their ways. For me, get them to be open, get them to express their dreams, their imagination, their illusions, their fantasies, and their dreams. For me, just allow them to support their dreams. For me, that's it. Be loving and caring towards them. For me, treat them with respect. Don't lie to them. Don't just know that they're a water sign. Of course, they're very mutable. They got two sides to themselves. And also, get them into some art class, some drawing class, and things of that nature. Get them into these. For me, water is basically based upon the past experiences, dancing, arts, drawings, craftiness. And of course, that's dealing with memory. Now, air signs is basically dealing with the past and the future, because of course, that's the way we think and communicate. We can think and communicate about the past and future. So get them into like some kind of reading, also, and things of that nature. Get them into some things as far as like science, astrology, occult, mysticism. Get them into like spelling bees and things of that nature programs. Earth signs are basically based upon business, career, status, goals, and marketing, and entrepreneur. Also, what else? That word I forgot. Housing, some shit like that. The words is there, just the mind is racing. Also, you know, fire signs is basically dealing with imagination, expansion, growth, passion, motivation, dedication. Also, sports too is good too. Get the fire signs in some sports and being active, because they gotta be active. I mean, if they're not active, then yeah, it's gonna be a problem. But that's how you basically raise your child and discipline them. Let them act in their natures and find out where they basically need to be utilizing their characteristics. Don't beat your child, don't harm your child, don't put your child in harm's way. Make sure you taking care of your child, whether you have a child or not. AKA, take care of your mind, your feelings, and emotions. These are your children. If you abandon your mind and your feelings and emotions, you are abandoning your motherfucking children. Feel me? Yeah, they swimming in you. Of course, they're gonna be admitted someday, one day. But also, if you got children that's in a physical flesh and form, take care of your child in your physical flesh and form on a day-to-day basis. You ain't got shit to be worried about. Your child will love you, your child will be appreciative towards you, and you ain't got no blood on your hands. And don't be a fucking deadbeat neither. Don't motherfucking be a dead, because you're gonna reap the sorrowness of that shit too. Take care of your child, be in your child motherfucking life. It's very fucking important, because of course, whatever you want to manifest won't manifest if you ain't taking care of your creation, your child. You deadbeat motherfuckers, just know the universe got some shit for y'all. Y'all gonna have dark dreams and nightmares. So don't fucking play around when it comes to your child. Love them, appreciate them, and be there in their life. I don't give a fuck if y'all separated from the mother. Make a commitment to basically be in that child's life, no matter what the circumstance situation is. They'll get, shit, you know what? The mother taking care of it, it's all good. No, it's not all fucking good. You wanna have some blood on your motherfucking hands. Whether you the mother or the father, you're going to have some blood on your hands if you're not in that motherfucking child life. I love it. Now, I love these kids. Don't take them for granted, because whatever you trying to manifest will be put on the back burner if your kids is not being basically taken care of on a day-to-day motherfucking basis. Motherfucker. Love y'all.